Mzhakdo Kwe, Vicki Monague from Beausoleil First Nation.
Shut it down! We're going to tell Dalton McGuinty that we don't like his HST. We're going to tell Dalton McGuinty that he needs to honor our people. And we're going to come back stronger and stronger every time. And one thing that I have an assignment for all of you to do, when you guys go back home, talk to your community members every day. Every day, tell them how important it is that we stop this tax. I'm a single mom of 3 from Chimna Singh. And I'm standing here with my kids right now. I took them out of school today. I want to show them how important it is to stand for our rights. Because if we don't stand for these kids today, nobody will stand for them. We do not take these battles and pass them down to our children. We are strong people and we will finish this. We finish it in this generation. So with that, I want to give you guys just one more thing to say. Dalton McGuinty, no HST! Go figure he'd never come back out here and face us, eh? Oh, Big Reg, keep going, let's hear those drums again!
Well, first of all, any taxes that are imposed on First Nations people are illegal because we are a separate entity from Canada. Like Pat Green's saying right there, we are a sovereign people. And we'll come together as so, and we are continuing to come together now. Like I was saying earlier, First Nations people, first meaning that we've been here thousands and thousands of years, we are connected to this land, we have a duty to this land, and this land remembers us and holds us dear. The Mzhakdo Kwe is the Great Turtle Island. This is our home. Nation, as in we are a nation. We are a nation that is equal to the United States and Canada. We are a nation that needs to be respected and honored, and we can't have these other nations coming in and violating our rights as a sovereign nation. And we need to put an end to taxes. Even we had the GST, and the GST was imposed upon us without consultation. Now we're having the PST being harmonized with the HST, and it's a violation. It's a direct violation against First Nations people in the fact that we were not consulted on both the federal and provincial level, and it's a violation against humanity in the fact that it's going to further impoverish our communities. And Dalton McGuinty doesn't realize how that poverty exists in his own backyard, and that is how he is failing Ontario residents, is because he supports privatized businesses. He supports the making more money rather than he's putting out, and this is what I'm here today to stand against. I don't believe anything that they say is a done deal, because everything can be changed. Excuse me. Everything can be changed, and if you have enough people who stand together and who fight for what is right and what is true, and you have the Creator on your side, there's no such thing as a done deal. So, and this is what we're here demonstrating today, is that unified stance. That unity is going to really carry us a long, long way, especially in terms of First Nations people. And in the end, eventually, they're going to have to recognize us as a sovereign people. I think ultimately, when it comes to democracy, when it comes to politics in Ontario and in Canada generally, there's always going to be opposition and a proponent. So a proponent and an opponent. But what I think the real meaning here is that there's nobody working together, and Dalton McGuinty doesn't even listen to his own constituents when they're saying no HST, then when they're saying no Site 41. And what really needs to happen here is more public consultation and really taking a good look at what is going on in our own backyard, validating all these different groups and honoring all these different groups. Dalton McGuinty just has no respect for anybody but the Liberal people sitting in there today. Well, what he's doing is he's actually added this tax onto different items now. I understand some of the items that are covered by PST will not be taxed, but some new items are going to be taxed, and it's in terms of like the electricity bill and everything like that, it's increasing the cost of living, increasing the cost of existing, increasing the cost of being a human in today's society. We're already looking at people who are struggling. Our social services don't meet the need. We have homelessness, we have food banks that even right now cannot meet the need of the people who need it. And that's what he needs to pay attention to. He needs to come to these First Nations communities and see what's going on there. He needs to go down and visit the homelessness shelters down here in Toronto, and he needs to realize that he's making it harder for them to survive, especially in terms of people on welfare. You get stuck into a system where they pretty much own your life. They want your income tax statements, and they want to know what your investments are, and they want you to only make a certain amount of money. And we already know that that amount of money that you get from welfare in the Ontario welfare system isn't enough for these people to sustain their own families. And now we're looking at increasing the cost of living, but he's not increasing the cost of or raising the rates for that either. So he's really making it really harder, especially for those senior citizens, those ones on pension and everything else. He's increasing the cost of living for them, and they already struggle as it is, especially in terms of healthcare. And it all rolls into the big thing is that Dalton McGuinty doesn't have any respect for anybody, and he is so, and the Ontario Liberals as well, just so focused on the economy rather than the people, and you can't separate the two. They need to be in harmony and in balance with everything, and in harmony with the land, and it needs to work in harmony with First Nations people. Real harmony, yeah. Real harmony. That's the meaning of harmony.